Good morning, students. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. So, welcome again to all the students of class 1. And today we are going to read a poem. This poem is about a little boy, and this boy always does one thing every night before going to bed. So, let us first see that what is the name of the poem that we are going to study. The name of the poem is God is My Friend, and this is also chapter 4 of your book. And this poem is written by Lela Berkey. Okay, so before we start reading the poem of this little boy, who thinks that God is his friend, there are certain things that I want all of you to think that before going to bed, what is the first thing that you do? Do you make your bed, or do you pray? Do you brush your teeth, or do you switch off the lights? So I'll tell you about myself. So the first thing that I do is before going to bed, I always make my bed. Then actually I start, basically I start with brushing my teeth. So the first thing that I do is I brush my teeth, then I make my bed. Then sometimes I pray first and then switch off the lights, or sometimes I switch off the lights first and then I pray. But just like this little boy, I also pray to God before going to bed. So let us study this poem by Lela Berkey, which is about a boy who always prays at night. So this little boy says, before I go to bed at night, I like to kneel and pray. And it is very nice to know that God hears what I say. I always tell him, thank you, God, for all your gifts to me. I like to tell him everything, for he's my friend, you see. I never need to be afraid, for God is always near. I always try to please my friend, and then I never fear. So, this is a poem written by Lela Berkey, wherein this boy says, before I go to bed at night, I like to kneel and pray. So kneel and pray. You see the way this boy and this girl is sitting. They're sitting. They've bent their knees and then they are sitting. And what is this boy doing? He's folded his hands and he's praying to God. And what makes this boy very happy? He says that it is very nice to know that God hears what I say. So the boy says that I know that God always listens to all my prayers. See the amount of love and trust this boy has in God. And then, what is the most important thing that this boy does when he's praying? He thanks God. He says, thank you, God. So you should always thank God with whatever you have. Remember, you've been told that saying thank you is a very good habit. So it is also very important to say thank you, God, for everything. So this boy also says thank you to God. For what all things does this boy say thank you to God? For all the gifts that God has given to this boy. Can you think of the gifts that God has given you? Has God given you the gift that you got on your last birthday? No. Has God given you that gift? So, God has given you certain very precious gifts like your family, your friends, your teachers. And these are the people who bring so much of happiness in your life. So, God has given us certain very precious gifts. God has given us such a beautiful body. By beautiful, I don't mean the good looking face. Beautiful body means a healthy body. So you should always thank God for all these things, that you have got such a healthy body, you have got such a good family, you are so blessed by God that you're studying in such a good school. So just like this boy, you should always thank God for all the precious gifts that God has given you. And then what is this boy saying? He says that I like to tell him everything. Him refers to the God. So for this boy, he says that I want to tell everything to God, and I always tell everything to God. So who's that one person that you tell everything to? So apart from your parents, apart from your family, who else is there to whom you tell all the things? It is your friend. So this boy also says that I like to tell everything to God. Why? Because he says that God, he is my friend. And then he says that I'm never afraid. I never need to be afraid. Afraid means to be scared of something. So this boy is very confident. He says, I'm never afraid of anything because God is always very near to me. So this boy says that God is always with me. God is always very near to me. So I am not afraid of anything. And then he says, I always try to please my friend. Please, to please someone means to make that person happy. So, and he says that, and then I never fear. So how do you please your friends? Sometimes you give them gifts, sometimes you give them chocolates, sometimes you give your own lunch to your friends to please them. So how is that you can please God? By praying to God every night before going to bed. And always remember, before you ask for something from God, always first say thank you God for all the beautiful things that you have given me, just like this little boy. And you will see, you will feel that God is always around you and God is always there to help you. So now make this a habit. I want all the students to make this a habit, that before going to bed you will always pray to God, and before asking for a lot of other things in life, what is it that we all will do? We will first thank God. We will first say thank you God for all the lovely things, and then you can ask for a lot of things, and always have faith in God. So thank you, students. I hope you enjoyed the poem.